This is Sean Canan. We started calling him Dadbird after college since he was the first in our friend group to have kids, and when he'd make a birdie on a hole, somebody invariably say something like, "Another birdie for Dad," and that evolved into a Dadbird. Now here we are. So he's a funeral home director, a father, a husband, and he plays to a pretty good 1 or 2 handicap, and he's got dreams of one day playing in the U.S. Mid-Am, and that's what brings us in, the Three Pros. I'm Clay Winnell, PGA professional and golf instructor from Dallas, Texas, and my mission in golf is to help golfers discover the same freedom I found during my journey on golf's many tours. This is my friend Neil Ajibita. He's a professional golfer from New Orleans who's been chasing his dream of earning a PGA Tour card since we graduated Clemson together in 2010. Neil's currently enjoying full status on the PGA Tour Latino America following a win in their qualifying school earlier this year. And this is Gus Barchers. He's an award-winning PGA professional in Jacksonville, Florida who teaches golf, reads about golf, podcasts about golf, and plays at a high level. Our mission with this show is to help our friend Sean qualify for the U.S. Mid-Am. Welcome to the Dadbird Project. Gus, real quick, for someone who has no idea what we're talking about, what's the Mid-Am, who's playing in it, and what's the purpose of it?
Yeah, the Mid-Am is run by the USGA. It's an event that essentially is trying to eliminate the college golfers from competing in it. So it's everybody from 25 and up. You have to be an amateur golfer to compete in it. And what we find is it's a lot of the guys who are money managers. And so what these guys do, and I think this is sort of the deal here, the USGA is putting on this event for guys that are not playing college golf with the idea that these guys are working, they have different jobs, they're amateur golfers, but they pursue it at a high level. But I think what they are failing to realize is that the guys who are playing in this event are actually playing all year. We call it the cocktail circuit. And they're playing in all different amateur events, from the Timuquana Cup to what they do at the Honors Course to Seminole to LA Country Club to Pine Valleys. And they're all these really high-end places that hold these amateur events for small fields. And there's rankings that go into all of these things. But the guys who really do well are guys who are playing all year in competitive atmospheres at really hard golf courses. So that's sort of the drawback of the Mid-Am, is that you feel like, oh, these guys are like me. And then you get out there and you realize, holy, these guys are just sponsored by their law firm to go play with clients day in and day out. They're not professional golfers, but in large part they are. In the qualifier, you're going to play guys that are like you. And so I think an even par score, but in the actual event, you're going to go there and you're going to be like, oh, these guys are preparing like tour players.
In terms of painting you as a golfer, what is so people at home can guess if you have a chance of making the U.S. Mid-Am, what is your best ever score?
69.
Okay. And it was legit. You counted them all. Played the ball.
Yeah. Played the ball down, counted all the strokes. I've had a couple 69s. I've probably had 5 or 6 rounds under par my entire life, all within the last 2 years.
So that the tip of your iceberg, and golf is a lot about potential and your capabilities. So you know that you are physically capable, and competition sometimes brings out interesting things in people. Some people are better in competition than they are just playing for fun. But I think that's a good little understanding that it's a pretty low percentage of your casual round shot that will get you into the Mid-Am, but it is possible.
I know I can go shoot an even par round. I have that confidence that I can do it.
Yeah.
It's just, will I get in my own way?
Realistically, our qualifiers when? September?
I think August.
Okay. So
August, 16th, I think.
Okay. So what can we do basically in a month where he goes into that practice round before the U.S. Mid-Am and it's like, I learned 5% of something from that podcast. Something helped me.
My biggest problem in tournament golf would be I have this plan in place. What I would need your help with, and I think what most people would, is how do I have this plan in my head where I'm going to hit, okay, driver, give me an 8-iron, layup, 4-iron, 6-iron, and then on the same hand, just 20 minutes ago, I said I want to pretend like I'm having 4 Bud Lights and I don't care.
Sean's goal is the Mid-Am, but it's not the Mid-Am. Sean is going for a process.
Okay, so his goal can only be process bound.
I truly believe so. Like there are so many guys who play way more than Sean. There are so many things outside of Sean's not abilities but boundaries. you can't say that Sean needs to get into the mid-am. Sean needs to accomplish a lot of things for himself before he can say, let's go get in the mid-am. That's my
I want to get in that cocktail club. I want to go play honors course, Pine Valley. I want to get in that cocktail club. Mid-am.
That's really what you want to do, honestly.
The more responsibility Sean puts on what he can control, the further he will go as an amateur. You can't control where you score or how you finish, but the more he puts on himself as a player, as what he can control, as his personal demeanor or how he feels about pressure and those types of things, Sean will progress as a player. But as far as playing guys who are these real estate guys, like, you can't measure yourself as that. Like, you're not going to play as much as those guys. And honestly, Sean does not care about guys like that.
No, nor should he.
That's not Sean's bag, baby. Signed by Austin Powers. It's like people who are on TV like, and this is Rory McIlroy for Eagle. No, you're not putting for Eagle. You're just putting. Like, please get this announcer out of your brain. The putt is just a putt, and the shot is just a shot, and they're all individual things. Like, as soon as you hit a par 5 and 2, you're saying, "Oh my God, I can 3-putt this and get away with par." Like, that's okay. Like, honestly, be truthful with me. A lot of people think that way.
I think the other way, where like, this is embarrassing if I 3-putt it because I never get here into.
I mean, I think you're right. You're a month away. There is nothing. There is no amount of golf balls on the range that will convert to you making the mid-am. If someone said you have to hit 6,000 golf balls between then and now to make the mid-am, well, that would be really easy, right? People would just hit 6,000 golf balls, and it wouldn't matter what happened. It would just be a number. But that's not how these things work. So I think the thing to help you is, and we're talking about it, is, and where Neil and Clayton can really help you here is the mental side of a pre-shot routine and really believing in each step of the process. And
the only routine I have, pre-shot routine, that's the same every time is on the putting green.
So do you practice the same way that you play your golf?
No.
You do repetition the same way you compete. Like, you have to make it all the same.
So, like, on a scorecard, I wish I had one right here. So you got like 5 boxes down for hole 1. So instead of, Tom, Bob, yada, 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 just do each shot gets its own box on each hole. And for the drive on number 1 in the first box, if you say, I'm going to hit a high draw, and you hit a high draw, it's okay. And then if you hit a terrible shot, you figure out, okay, why did I just hit that terrible shot? Is it because I didn't commit to some sort of plan before I hit, or did I hit without any kind of comfort? And that should, in my opinion, help you get more process oriented. Every little shot is like a game, and you just got to treat it like that. And how good was my result in relation to my intent? That's the game. But golf to me is about hitting okay shot, some sort of reasonable relation to your intent. And if you do that all day in the U.S. Mid-Am, you'll shoot about even par, and you got a chance.
So Larry Mize won the Masters in 1987, and he was a member at the Country Club of Columbus where I worked. And he always talked to, we talk about the mental game, we talk about playing the game, but the mental game for him, he summarized as this. He goes, people think of par 4s and par 5s and par 3s like holistically as like a total. And he's like, and what I do when I'm playing on tour and playing in big events is I think of every shot being a par. So there's 72 pars. And the idea here is that if every shot you have this baseline or an idea of what is par for this golf shot, not what's better than par, not what's worse than par, but what is par for this golf shot. It's a cool little way to think about it. As far as playing goes, is like,
I love
this
that.
one.
I love that. I will try that. But also, great humble brag. Larry Mize and you are boys. Very good. Snuck that in. I caught it though.
Very good humble brag. And then I would also just try to do this for 9 holes the next time you go play. Hopefully, you don't put any money on the line or whatever, but really try to play away from the flag stick. So for 9 holes, pick whether it can be harder, you know, like let's say the flagstick's in the middle, but you're playing to the back right corner, right? Just because that's what you're choosing. Play away from the flagstick on purpose. The flagsticks weren't out there, right? Then you really couldn't see it at all. So really it becomes of like playing like sort of a quadrant game of, you know, I want it in the back left, back right, front right, you know, and try to think about it in those type situations and see if you can do it. You know, flip the game on its head a little bit and mix it up in your mind. You know, you're always thinking about playing your best or lowest round ever. And I think it's more about playing a different game within yourself.
And this is the stuff that you can't get on Instagram. You can't get on YouTube. I can look up how to hit a fade, how to hit a draw, and there's going to be 50 people on there with a 25-minute video clip on how to hit a fade or how to hit a draw. But nowhere on there can I find how to make me a better golfer with my current setup, just thinking about things differently. And like I never even would have considered those two things you just mentioned as a way to make me a better golfer mentally.
If you talk to great players, they all have a putting drill that they work on for at least 1 or 2 hours a week, whether it's a chalk line or a teaching aid or whatever it is, or the putting perfect, you know, invest in a teaching aid for your putting, because it's basically you're sighting in a rifle scope every time you do it. And you have to perform that maintenance on your golf club, on your putter.
I found some guy on Instagram that has like really good putting drills I want to try. But
So
I haven't
whatever
done
you pick, it's important for you to know why you're doing the drill. And the drill's not for you to feel nervous, and just like the theory being as much you're in nervous situations more and more, then you're going to be ready for the first tee shot at the U.S. Mid-Am, because I've already been in nervous situations. To me, the point of it is more of what can you do process-wise to eliminate the little evil guy on your shoulder that's making you nervous. Par for each shot on the putting is like, was I able to be process oriented so emotion didn't even come into the way? But
Right.
That's not going to be possible all the time, but you can feel like different levels of it. It can either be screaming in your ear or it's just very subtle. And your goal is to keep it subtle as possible.
Right. I was more nervous than I thought I was going to be when I played just last weekend, last week. But I handled it well until I had a shank, and then that kind of threw me for a loop a little bit, because, you know, I wasn't expecting it. You know, it's not like I 4-putted because I was an idiot, or I tried to go for the green in 2 and I chunked it in the water. That was just like a blown fuse or something like that. I just was like out of nowhere.
Sure.
So.
You'll become more resilient. And what we're talking about, like make every shot count between now and your tournament. It just makes you more resilient, because the more you get process oriented, see an honest plan, wait for honest comfort. The more reps you feel of that, then when you do get a little, you know, hitch in your giddy up, you're not going to like melt down as much. And if you just keep the meltdown, you know, from, you know, boiling over, then you can recover. And it's sort of about meltdown management at your level in 1 month. Like part of what we're trying to say to you is like, Neil, Gus, and I have felt where you are before. And for you and other golfers, like there is more that you can do than you think you can do if you use your time better.